Hey there, YouTube, it's P2 Finger, and we got Mailbag. What's in the mailbag? We're going to be digging through some stuff that just came in the mailbox. I don't know what's in there, but I think it might be parts for a project that's going to be featured on this channel. Now, the flip side of that, I'm going to take a few minutes to talk about a recommendation. There's a YouTuber by the name of See Me Go Nuts. I met this guy through our mutual love of a musician named Rob Fetters. So we're in there watching Fetters is Cheap. Somebody may have brought up The Residents, and he brought up Negativland. He brought up watching the movie, I believe is what he had said. So typically when there's something that like that'll pop up that I'm like, does that sound familiar? And I guarantee my path has crossed with these guys a number of times over the years through things like Dr. Demento, the news. They were in the news. They had a major high profile lawsuit, and they took everything from that lawsuit and put it together into a book and released it, sold it. Absolutely brilliant. So, Negativland, Ryan Worsley YouTube channel. I put the link for this in the description. Stand By for Failure, a documentary about Negativland. In 1978, David the Weatherman Wills, Richard Lyons, and Mark Hostler formed Negativland, which quickly became an absurd and noisy multimedia world without boundaries, ownership, or privacy. Negativland's complex chaos of plunder fun exposes both serious and silly questions about the nature of sound, media, technology, control, propaganda, power, and perception in the global village. Negativland continues to be pioneers of art in the electric age. The medium reveals that any message is all in our heads. So, the Weatherman, he is, I don't want to say mentally ill, but he's not, you wouldn't run into this guy at the BW2 on game night. He had bugged his mom's kitchen with a microphone and a speaker, and he had the same up in his room. So he would record his mom and his grandma preparing the turkey on Thanksgiving and then play that tape back to them the following year, and they would be commenting on conversation they had the previous year. So he was kind of an audio terrorist. He had developed this really annoying oscillator called the Super Booper, which, when you look into that, you'll see people begging for schematic. It does not sound like anything else I've ever heard. It's a really neat sounding piece of equipment, and that's something that I should remind myself to check in on the internet every few years and see if someone has gotten a crack, taken a whack at reverse engineering it and putting up a diagram so you could replicate it. These guys, I know a couple of people involved in the group have passed away already. I know David, the Weatherman himself, he's the most, maybe I would say, likable. He moved out of his parents' house when they were deceased. He moved in with the bandmate. Another one of these guys was a disc jockey at Los Angeles or San Francisco, some radio station that let him get away with doing basically the same thing he did in the group, which was playing sound cartridges, looping audio, and when you fall into the crosshairs of Negativland, they do not necessarily play fair. They will manipulate the audio. There's typically there's some music that will stick in your craw and create a suspension or an uneasy feeling to colorize the point that they're making through the use of highly edited prose, like people talking on tape. And this is something I've done the same thing. I got a hold of some blue chip stock guy who was giving a speech and edited that tape and used that for the intro to one of my songs. Their releases, and they've got a lot of music that they released. Again, they call them a band. They were a multimedia troupe. They went beyond, like you could say, okay, well, they're not John, Paul, George, and Ringo. We don't have a drummer. We don't have a bass player. But their releases went from one side of that spectrum towards more musical. They did have some more musical releases. And Negativland was more about making their statement, their political, socio-political statement. So, and this is very much counterculture, or doesn't necessarily go with the flow. So if that sounds like something interesting, Negativland, they picked a fight with the biggest band when that band was at its biggest point, and that turned into a lawsuit, which they repackaged all of the documentation from that and then sold it. They interviewed the singer from that band and asked him, they said, look, you came after your lawyers, your people came after us so hard, they're demanding royalties on our first 7 albums. We got no money. What about maybe hooking us up with some money? And he laughed and said, I've never been asked for money in an interview. Also, the Casey Kasem tapes, if you're familiar, is Don on the phone. It's something you hear me say from time to time. Negativland was instrumental in distributing that golden piece of audio. So, yeah, if you know what that is, or if you don't, or if you're curious, the link is in the description. Stand By for Failure, a documentary about Negativland with one E, Negativland, about Negativland, the full movie on the Ryan Worsley YouTube channel. Everything people want is true, even if it isn't. In 1978, David the Weatherman Wills, Richard Lyons, and Mark Hostler formed Negativland, which quickly became an absurd and noisy multimedia world without boundaries, ownership, or privacy. Negativland's complex chaos and plunderphonics poses both serious and silly questions about the nature of sound, media, technology, control, propaganda, power, and perception in the global village. Negativland continues to be pioneers in the art of the electric age, and the medium reveals that any message is all in our heads. There is a Tiny Desk home concert on NPR Music. And there is I really don't want to say the name of it. If you look into Negativland, if you type that into the YouTube search, there's going to be a lot of interesting stuff pop up. But you should start and watch the documentary. It's really well made, and it contains a lot of their art. The documentary is produced in the style that their music is. It's the same style. It almost seems like they made it. So that's definitely worth your time. Now, we're going to switch gears. And mailbag. It's time for mailbag. Mailbag. What's in the mailbag today for Petey? And we've got 2 bags. This one is about 6 by 6 inches, and we've got 2 packages. And in the first package, we have a Wilkinson bridge. We have a Wilkinson bridge with chrome saddles. And second package, we have a project box. Hey, how do you like that? It's a project box. This is going to, we have this here, which 12 volts comes in, 5 volts goes out. This is going to be going to go in there, and there will be a fuse and a toggle switch and a USB port. So I will be able to run the pigtail cables out and plug it into a 12 volt steel lead acid battery or any 12 volt battery, and this will give me 5 volt 3 amp in a USB plug. And that is for our new Canon Vixia camcorder. That's what that's actually for. We run the camcorder off of a 12 volt sealed lead acid battery, and I've got a power bank. I can be running off of that. We got to see how that's going to work out. Whatever is going to cost us the least amount of money is the, and I mean, efficiency is part of that equation as well, but we are going to be rebuilding a bass guitar. It's a BC Rich bass guitar, and you may have seen this instrument. This is a package of 50 stickers of fish, of bass. 50 bass. There's some damage on the body, and I thought I could put stickers of. Here we have wow. Tuners. Not bad. Not bad at all. We've got the tuners. And is this it? Strings, bass strings. So here is the bass. It's got this damage here, here, and here. I got those bass stickers. It's a BC Rich Platinum Warlock. We didn't get the we did not get the nut, as far as I can see, unless it's in here. No. We did not get the nut or the pickup. Let me just double go through this. But there's also I got a strap coming. I got a police line do not cross strap coming. I didn't get the strap locks. I've got an excess of strap locks now. I've got enough of them that I should be able to put something together if I feel the need to put something together for that. But yeah, that's about it. It looks like there's going to be additional deliveries that are going to come. I'm going to leave this come until then. So that's what I got so far. I will be working on this BC Rich as time passes. We're going to be the jack plate didn't come, the potentiometers didn't come, the pickup didn't come, and the nut didn't come. But I've got enough to get me started to have a little bit of fun tonight. So you guys enjoy, and I will talk to you soon. Peace.